special.
James Michalopoulos is using his talents and energies to do whatever he can to create a solid foundation so that the celebratory spirit of New Orleans will continue to thrive long after he's gone.
Watch Michalopoulos, The Art of Celebration, this Sunday, December 14th at 7 and 9 p.m., only on WLAE. Wishing you a blessed Advent season from all of us at WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. We're local and educational. You're watching WLAE-TV.
Inside New Orleans Sports, Eric Asher is underwritten by...
At Villeries Florist, we deliver the magic of flowers 7 days a week to the North Shore and South Shore in the New Orleans area. Whether it's for birthday parties, baby celebrations, Villeries provides colorful floral displays for all. With a store full of fresh-cut flowers, exotic tropical flowers, orchids, roses, and even fruit baskets, our goal is to make your vision a reality. Villeries Florist, proudly serving Louisiana since 1969.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
C&C Drugs is a family-owned pharmacy that's been serving Southeast Louisiana for over 50 years. Whether you need help taking care of an elderly family member, a growing child, or even a pet, C&C provides patient-centered care for your entire family. C&C Drugs, large enough to serve you, small enough to know you. Locations in Mandeville and Araby.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Inside New Orleans Sports. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Over the next hour, we cover all the home teams. The Saints, LSU, Tulane, and Pelicans. Garland, Gillen of Fox 8 Sports. Rod Walker of NOLA.com are our guests tonight. Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll start with you, Garland. Tell us about all that's going on over at Fox 8. Of course, you got another life as well, Garland, on the Avenue and everything you're doing on social media. Tell us all about everything you're involved in.
Football season is just keeps rolling. I mean, Tulane has a great season. They lose their coach. They make history. They're going to the college football playoff. LSU has a terrible season, but then the off season gets wild with Lane Kiffin's now up in Baton Rouge. Saints are still rolling into January. And then I'm really excited. I will say this. I can't wait till Saturday. Edna Carr, St. Aug in the Dome on Saturday at 3:30. Like, I am super pumped up for that game. Like, when those brackets came out, the first thing I did was figure out Edna Carr and Aug on the opposite sides of the bracket. We could have like 30, 40,000 fans.
That's
I mean,
incredible.
people are flying in from all over the country, Aug grads. Now, Aug lost by 21 points in the regular season. I think Carr is the favorite in this game. But to have Aug in there for the first time since '79 is really cool. So we got a lot going on. Our final high school football show is Friday night, and the game is on Saturday. So we are absolutely cooking over at Fox 8.
And of course, 10:35 Monday through Friday, always a show, right?
Always a show Monday through Friday, and then high school show is going to end this Friday. But then we're going to carry Black and Gold Review and Game Plan Monday and Wednesday. We're going to carry it all the way through the Super Bowl this year. So we'll only lose a couple of shows.
Football, and food. And Garland on the Avenue.
I got something right. I'm gonna write something up this week, and then I took a hit to the face at the Tulane game on Friday night. A little overbearing fan, so I haven't done Garland on the Avenue because it's almost healed. My lips almost healed from Friday night. I had a blood gusher on Friday, but we're almost back to 100%.
Right. That was at the Tulane game at Yom with the folks rushing the field. Rod, welcome back to the show. Good to have you back.
Thanks.
With NOLA.com, the Times Picayune, but you've really concentrated on the Pelicans, right?
Yeah, mostly, but I'm diving into some high school stuff, just kind of going back to it because I always enjoyed it so much. So I got a chance to talk to some of the guys on that 1975 car team that won it, and this is the 50th anniversary for that group. So I'm doing some of that this week
Yeah.
as well. I need to start me on like a rod on the West Bank.
Yeah, there you go.
Fletcher took my idea. Now he does stuff on like Bayou St. John because he lives a block away from there. I mean, I live 7 blocks from St. Charles Avenue, so it's on my jog. I like rod on the bank.
I like that too. I like that too as well.
I like
No doubt. What you writing about as far as the Pelicans goes? Anything out there? We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but
the team is struggling. It's been kind of tough to write about them and the Saints as well. I mean, it's been a tough season for both franchises, but Pelicans are starting to get a little healthier, and they're at a point in the season where they're getting a few breaks between games, so able to get some more practices in. I think Borrego will take advantage of that.
That's the key, right, for them, because
they didn't get a lot of practice.
No, and you saw the difference in the practices too between when he first took over after a couple practices, especially on the offense, moving the basketball. But when we get into the Pelicans, we'll talk about it. The biggest problem with them right now is they just don't play defense, and they got to figure that out. All right, let's get started, guys. Saints 3-10 beat the Bucks 24-20. The first question out of the box is: have the Saints found their quarterback? On the small sample size that we've seen with Tyler Shuck, do you guys feel comfortable in saying that they don't have to go after a quarterback in this year's draft, that he has shown enough that he could be the starter next year?
I think so. So far, so good with Tyler Shuck. Brought him in on the back end. His play on Sunday in the pouring down rain. I mean, the play at the end where he broke 3 different tackles and then dove under the defender to get in the end zone. I mean, that's kind of that'll probably be the play of the year. Like when you think about the Saints season, obviously you'll think of losing, but you'll at least think of some bright spots. And I think that rookie class, with Tyler Shuck being the leader of this rookie class, I mean, Kelvin Banks is having a strong season also at left tackle. I think Shuck's your guy. You go into this NFL draft, you get an edge defender, maybe an offensive lineman, get something other than quarterback, because this is a weak quarterback class. I know Fernando Mendoza is turning it up with Indiana. Is he a 10-year, 15-year quarterback in the NFL? I don't know. Dante Moore looks good at Oregon, but is he great? When you're spending the first, second, or third pick, you want somebody you think is going to be your quarterback to 10 to 15 years. Tyler Shuck, I think you roll with him the end of this season all the way through next season. The 2027 NFL draft class with Julian saying Arch Manning is going to be a really strong group of quarterbacks. So you roll with Shuck all next year.
Yeah, and of course, again, a lot of people thought this year's draft class was going to be an incredible class for quarterbacks, but those quarterbacks in a lot of cases have not lived up to the press clippings. Rod, your thoughts on Tyler Shuck?
Yeah, I agree with Garland on that, and I actually, after the game against Carolina when they won, like I was kind of sold on him at that point. I just thought he had shown me enough already, but I think he really added to it this week against Tampa Bay, and I think he's just going to continue to get better. He's playing behind an offensive line that's pretty depleted, so I think once they do that, and they still need to get some pieces around him, but I like him, and I think he's the guy.
See, that's where I come from, because when you look at his surrounding cast, it's just really not up to NFL standards. The offensive line, again, for the most part, injured. Again, the quality's not there. As I was telling Garland before the show, Olave's hot and cold. 1 week he looks like a 1-1 receiver. The next week he doesn't. Again, now the running back in the situation, Neal looked good last week, but let's face it, your running back, Alvin Kamara's injured. So he's having to carry this team by himself. And that's a tough deal for a guy that's a rookie that is really trying to get his feet wet in the NFL. And that is the thing that makes me feel like, again, maybe this guy might be the guy. Both of you saw him during training camp. Did you see this out of him?
Well, we knew that he had a good escapability. We knew he had a cannon for an arm in training camp. I mean, they were 50-50. It was Rattler and Shuck. It was a tight race all through camp. They could have gone either way at the beginning of the season. I think they had some apprehension that Tyler Shuck was a rookie, a 26-year-old rookie for that case. I always said that you wanted to find out what you had in Tyler Shuck. I thought they should have started Shuck the first game. I was very vocal about that. But they wanted to go with Rattler and see what they got. Now they know for a fact that Rattler's the backup, Shuck is the starter. And I think it's going forward. It's going to be Shuck, but you're right. I mean, have Devin Neal as your running back. You're relying on Devon WLAE. Right. Offensive line, that's kind of makeshift right now. You're not giving him a lot of weapons. I mean, this is one of probably the weakest rosters in the NFL. There's a reason why their over-under win total to start the season was 4.5. Everybody picked them to be in the top 5 of the NFL draft next year. I just don't think that Shuck got enough weapons given to him. And then they traded away one of his better weapons in Rashid Shaheed. Right. And they let Brandon Cooks go. So he's not given a lot of options to go to. And then it hurts that Alvin Kamara is out right now.
Yeah. Rod?
Yeah, for me, I think they played it the right way. I mean, they let Shuck kind of sit and learn. You threw Rattler out there, let him play, but I think if you had started Shuck at the beginning of the season, like, I don't know, he may have lost some confidence if he had struggled coming out the gate.
Yes.
So I think the way they did it just kind of really set it up for him. But they did need to find out for sure, like, what they had in him, and I think they were able to do that. So
I do think the genius move on the part of Moore was to get him and have him working with the scout team, because we know that, again, backup quarterbacks don't get a lot of reps during the season. So by putting him with the scout team, he's playing against the Saints defense, and he's getting reps every single day, and that probably helped his maturation process.
Yeah, and I mean, pointed out he is 26 years old. He's been around the league for a long period of time. But being in college for a long period of time doesn't equate to success in the NFL. Though if you're old enough, you can get back in the NFL at 44, as we saw with Phillip Rivers.
Right.
I like everything about Shuck. I like after the game. I wasn't at the game. Sean Fazan and Jeff Hager, our photographer, were there. But listening to Tyler's press conference, all he did was talk about his teammates. Even they asked him about him breaking the 3 tackles, getting in the end zone, and he talked about the O-line and everybody else surrounding him, making him have success. So he says all the right things. He's a team guy. There's everything to like about him, and going down to his golden retriever and all that during the draft and everything. So I like Tyler Shuck. I'm just excited that they might have figured out who their quarterback is, at least for next year. And that's one thing that we're not going to sit there in training camp charting passes every day.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to do the Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, and the third string quarterback tracking, who is ahead this day. We're not doing that in training camp. We can focus on something else, because I think this is going to be Tyler Shuck's job going forward.
Rod?
yeah, I mean, I think they have their guy, and that's the one thing they need to.
Right.
If they got nothing else out of the season, they need to get that, and they got it. So they figured it out.
Right.
And
Rod, competition on the back end of the schedule, a lot tougher than it was in the front end of the schedule with Rattler. Is that a component of this as well?
Well, I mean, you have no control over the schedule,
Right.
so I do think he obviously got some breaks. I mean, he definitely got an easier schedule. I mean, you look at this schedule with Panthers, Jets, Titans, Falcons. I mean, they could actually go 4-0.
They could go on. They really could go on a run here.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think. I mean, obviously Carolina's the big test. I mean, you beat them, then you start thinking, okay, this team, they go 4-0. Then that gets them to 7 wins, which would be exceeding expectations.
That big see what I thought they were going to do, and what you thought they were going to do as well, right?
Yeah, I had him win 4 games.
I had
but
him win
Tyler,
6.
I had them going 4 games.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck's going to blow this thing up, though.
Right.
I think his play is definitely elevated this entire team. But they're underdogs this week against the Panthers at home. The Titans got a win on the road at the Browns, which I think was a big win for the Titans. And I will say that the Jets are an absolute mess. Both their quarterbacks are hurt, Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields. So you could win that one the day after the Tulane Greenway play Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Kellen Moore. Again, it seemed like, he changed the script a little bit this week and was more aggressive in terms of the offense. My criticism of him is, you're scripting these plays and you're falling behind in the first quarter, and something's got to give here. And maybe the lack of aggression, lack of really pushing the ball down the field with his quarterbacks, maybe trying to protect him a bit, but at some point you got to let it go. I'd like to get, because you guys have seen him since training camp, critique him for me. Critique him after 13 games on, again, how he has evolved as a head coach and a play caller.
Well, he's had some bumps. Obviously, the red zone against the Falcons, I think he's learned that he should just stick with Shuck in the red zone. No Taysom Hill, it blew up in his face 2 times. Sometimes he's over-aggressive. I absolutely hated the had on 3rd down at the end of the game against Tampa. All you do is run the ball and kill about 40 seconds off the clock. He had him throw a pass that almost got intercepted. I'm in the Fox 8 Sports office with Wonky Kate. I threw a pen on the ground. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on here? He is starting to get a little more aggressive, and I like it when it comes to the first play from scrimmage. I don't know if you remember this. Tipton had the big kick return.
Yep.
They went for the bomb with Olave. Olave did not come over with it. But throwing a bomb on the first play, I'm like, all right, that's something a little different there. So I think he's figuring it out. I think it all comes back to this. I don't want to be too repetitive, but he just didn't have a great roster to do everything he wants with this offense. First game of the year, he blew the whole timeout situation. So obviously, it's tough being your first year as a head coach, being the guy. I think he's slowly starting to figure out, and I think it's a lot easier when you have a quarterback. Maybe he's starting to get into a groove, but every now and then, like that third down call, he makes a mistake where I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, I had like a lot of questions about him leading up to Sunday. Like I didn't know if he was like this riverboat gambler or if he's like this conservative guy. Like I couldn't even figure out like what his identity was, because he would just do. Sometimes he'd go for it on 4th and 1. Sometimes he was just all over the place.
Yes.
So I just kind of wanted to see him kind of figure out who he wanted to be as a coach. And I think Sunday was his best game. I think he needed a game like that. He needed a game where the offense. I mean, they brought him in here because he's supposed to be this offensive guy, and they were able to. I mean, scored 24 points, which pretty good for this team.
Right,
so
this team, yeah.
just to see them scoring their opening possession was big for this team, because they weren't moving the ball offensively, and to me that's why he was here. And so I was a little discouraged, but I'm starting to see some positive signs now. I think he's figuring it out now.
Right, on defense, Demario Davis and Cam Jordan have had really a great year. Both contracts end at the end of this season. Both are carrying double digits in dead money. Should the Saints bring them back? Should they work out a deal to try to bring those guys back for another year, or move on and go with the youth move?
I mean, if you can rework something, it would be ideal. And I'm not even sure if, I mean, Cam's a guy who, maybe he shuts it down now. I don't know, but I don't know if either one of those guys would go anywhere else to play. Like, I don't think they're at that point in their career. I think they both love New Orleans. I don't think either one of them are just, I got to have a Super Bowl ring. Like, I just don't think they're wired like that. So I'd expect them to either be back or just decide to shut it down.
Right, retire. Your thoughts?
I don't think DeMario has lost too much edge.
It looked like it last year, but I tell you what, this year it definitely does not.
His offseason work program. I know Alvin Kamara gets a lot of publicity because he posts a lot on Instagram. And but DeMario is just an absolute beast. I mean, Cam Jordan's only missed 2 games in his entire career.
Right.
I mean, Cam has kind of found the fountain of youth on the back end of the season. He, against the Bucs, he looked really good. I mean, you can tell in some plays he's getting old and he's getting slower.
Yeah.
There was one play Baker just went right by him. So if you told me to hedge or figure out which one, I would think DeMario still has something left. I know that they like Danny Stutzman, and the other linebacker though has kind of disappeared a little. Ohio State alum. Warner couldn't come to my head for a second. He hadn't had as strong of a season. But I say DeMario. If you're going to give me one of the two, I think DeMario will come back.
Guys, under the radar with this team that a lot of people are not talking about, but maybe we should be talking about it more, is what Staley has done with the defense and how he has turned this defense around. Again, when you look at especially the young players who have come on and playing, when you look at what he's playing with, what it started with in the beginning of the season, what he's got now, and how well they're playing, and then of course coming in with again a 3-4 alignment, which is bread and butter, and having a team that really again didn't have the players to play the 3-4, I think he's done a remarkable job in terms of turning that defense around. Thoughts?
Yeah, 4th down conversions against the Saints on Sunday. The Bucs were 2 of 7. 5 times they stopped them on 4th down. And I really love this youth movement they're having with the cornerback and Quincy Riley, the safety Jonas Sanker. Kool-Aid's in his 2nd year. He's starting to figure it out.
He really is starting to come on.
Yeah, Alante Taylor is a 3rd-year guy, so I consider still he being a young guy. So I think the secondary, there's a youth movement going on, and they kind of force the youth movement between Justin Reed having a season-ending injury and Tyron retiring before the season started. So they're kind of forced into a youth movement. So I like the back end of this team. Brandon Staley, I think, is finally figuring out. It takes a little time. Sean Fazan on our overtime was he was a little worried that maybe somebody else would grab him, but they also only have 3 wins. So I don't know how you can sell to your fan base that you want Brandon Staley. Even if they do win out, I think it would take another year for somebody to take Brandon Staley.
Plus he failed as a head coach previously, and of course his bread and butter is defensive coordinator. What are your thoughts?
We're going to get to coaches who failed as a head coach previously here later on.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Staley?
No, I think he's done a great job. Because the defense coming into the season, I was a little concerned about them, especially the interior of the offense, interior of the defensive line.
Right.
They kind of struggled stopping the run last season, but they've definitely gotten better. And he mentioned some of the safeties, but Julian Blackman, you lost him early in the season as well.
Right. That's another one.
The young guys have really stepped up. Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker. I mean, I think the Saints nailed this draft.
Right. They did.
I mean,
it looks like it on paper.
Yeah. I mean, they filled a lot of different holes with basically drafted someone at every position.
And last year's draft wasn't bad either. If you look at those guys kind of coming on now, again, when you look at what McKinstry's doing, and maybe not again to the degree of this year's draft, but they got some players that have come out between the last 2 drafts that are contributing.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention Devin Neal, who is I don't know if he's going to be the future RB1.
Right, but
we'll see.
But he could be in the mix. He could be part of a tandem.
I really liked. He's good at pass pro too. He's a strong guy. I'll never forget in training camp. He came and did an interview with Juan and Sean for we had a training camp show on Gulf Coast, and he was walking up, and I told him I'll never forget. We had Colorado, Kansas on Fox 8 last year, and he went absolutely nuts on Colorado, embarrassed them on national television. I mean, I think he broke some records at Kansas with his running prowess. I was amazed that he went as far down as he did, but I know running backs, everybody tries to get a deal with them. But I think Devin is going to be somebody in the future that we get excited about, because this probably is the end of the road for Taysom.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the same get up. Alvin can come back again if he wants. They're not going to push Alvin out the door. I don't think that would happen. But as you pointed out on the back end with Kool-Aid, I do like Kool-Aid. I think that they had some good guys this past year, but this year, you go through all of them. Even the one that got knocked out was a Broughton that got knocked out at the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah, he was already getting in the mix also before he suffered a season-ending injury.
Do you like the draft? And if you do, maybe some guys that you think have really, really stepped up.
I like pretty much everybody that got. Obviously tight end.
Montevale?
Yeah, he hadn't really contributed, but I think Riley's really good. I think Sanka's really good. Obviously Kevin Banks, Tyler Shuck, and not a draft guy, but Devon WLAE. That was a really good trade for them. I think he's a guy that Kellen Moore finally realized was on the roster, I guess.
Yeah, it took
2
a
weeks.
while.
Yeah, it took a while, but I think he's going to be a really good addition.
You think he's worth the top 100 pick? That's what it might be. At 4th round pick might be a top 100 pick. I will say against what he's done over the last few weeks.
Yeah,
if he continue that, yes.
Yeah. If you'd asked me this question 3 weeks ago, I'd be like, no, this is a really bad deal.
Right.
But yeah.
Top 100 pick. You think he's worth it?
Yeah, it gave. I think the best thing to happen to Devon WLAE was that Brandon Cooks got let go.
Yes.
So it got him more play. Now I like WLAE, and then the other guy they traded for the Patriots that's already out for this season. It escapes my mind. What's that?
Devon Gacho?
No, the receiver.
Receiver?
Pope.
Yeah, the receiver.
Polk.
They got,
That's only the reserve. Jalen Polk.
Yeah. So they got some guys coming in the future. Every offseason, you get some optimism, you get some excitement, and they'll have that this offseason.
Yeah.
We'll already be talking about next year, and Mickey will have his customary press conference, and hopefully no gum for the presser, and then he'll make us some promises and say he's going to work hard to get this thing turned around.
All right. They got Carolina this week. Not like they got a lot of wins, 3, but they've never been able to. They've not beat a team twice this season. Carolina's coming into the Dome. Guys, you think they got a chance to win this weekend? Do you think they can start a little streak here to the end of the season? Because this looks like it's the toughest game left on the schedule.
Yeah, and so Carolina's coming off a bye, correct?
Yep.
They're 7-6. Carolina is the favorite. I think they do, but man, Carolina is tied with the Bucs for first place in the NFC South. Jeff Duncan. We talked about hyperbole. Jeff Duncan tweeted the other day that if Tyler Shuck started at the beginning of the year, they could be fighting for the NFC South title. I love Jeff. That is a bold statement, my man.
That's quite a stretch.
Between Jeff's columns are a little more pull back, but man, he goes all in on Twitter, man. He throws some stuff out there with the Tyler Shuck, Devon WLAE's a poor man's Drew Brees, Marcus Colston. I was getting a kick out of him on Sunday. I do not know if Tyler Shuck was there at the beginning that this team would be fighting for the NFC South. I think they just had so many injuries and they had so much. The roster wasn't.
We might be
there.
thinking about Tyler Shuck in a different way if he'd have been starting from the beginning of the season.
Rod makes a good point. Maybe you and I talked earlier that maybe the Giants game was the game that he should have started Tyler Shuck. That's when it could have gone because they lost his first few games.
Right.
But they got a chance. I think the Dome. We're getting to the holidays. It's going to be packed on Sunday. I think that people are rallying around Tyler Shuck. I think you'll see some Tyler Shuck jerseys in the stands this week.
I think that's one of the things people are hanging on to now is Tyler Shuck, like with the Pelicans with Queen and Fierce. Can they go on a run here? Can they beat Carolina on Sunday?
I think they can. They beat them, earlier this season. And the game plan, that game was just stop the run and make Bryce Young beat you, and Bryce Young couldn't do it. So if they can, do that again, I think they'll be fine. And obviously, Carolina's going to have some type of counter for what they did the first game. So I don't know what they'll do, but I do think this is a game that the Saints will win.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look, the whole psyche of the city changes if they go on a little run at the end of the season here. Maybe it's a little bit of a fool's gold because of the quality of opponent, but let's face it, the Saints are not that good either. So again, I think it would be really good for the city. Might hurt them in terms of their draft, where they'll be in terms of the draft selection. But at the end of the day, man, this city needs wins and needs wins bad, based on what we've been dealing with our professional teams.
Yeah, what? They both have the same amount of wins right now.
Yeah.
But the Pelicans have played 26 games.
Yeah.
And the Saints have only played 13. So no, thank goodness for the Tulane Green Wave.
Yes, which we'll be getting to next.
Yeah, thank goodness for them because thank goodness for them. Thank goodness for the high school teams doing very well this season because it's been heartbreaking to cover the Pelicans, LSU, and the New Orleans Saints. It's been tough. Maybe next year we'll get some Kim Mulkey looking really good, and maybe the Pelicans kind of turn this around.
Right. Final word.
Just credit to Kellen Moore for keeping his team together because they could have easily, said,
I would agree with that.
Let's just call
and
it
I didn't
quits.
know what type of coach he was going to be. I mean, again, with his really soft demeanor, the all shucks type demeanor. Can he motivate a team? Can he get a team behind him, especially if a team is losing? But to your point, he has kept this group together.
Yeah, I mean, when you go into the locker room, I mean, you wouldn't know this team had only won 3 games. I mean, they look like a team that's maybe not. They don't look like a playoff team, but they look like a team that's been winning, like a 500 team, as far as just their mindset. So. Credit to him or whoever's responsible.
Is that internal leadership with the team, or a combination of both?
I was going to say it could be internal leadership. I don't know, what Kellen Moore is telling them guys, but they have some fight left in them, which is to me surprising considering the way the season's gone.
We'll take a break here. You're watching Inside New Orleans Sports. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Rod Walker of NOLA.com, Garland, Gillen of Fox 8 Sports are our guests. We come back, we're talking Green Wave. Then we'll talk a little bit about the Tigers and also the New Orleans Pelicans, all in the B block. Stay tuned. We'll hear from our underwriters. We'll be right back.
Located at 3701 Iberville Street in Mid-City is Katie's Restaurant and Bar. Open 7 days a week, Katie's offers daily specials for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Serving New Orleans cuisine such as fried shrimp platters, grilled redfish, and a fully stocked bar. And don't forget about our expanded event seating and local entertainment. Featured on the Best of Food Network's diners, drive-ins, and dives, Katie's Restaurant and Bar.
Burkhart's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration has been family-owned and operated since 1989. Burkhart has energy-efficient solutions and offers brands such as Mitsubishi ductless AC units and Amana, the only manufacturer with a lifetime unit replacement warranty. Burkhart's offers maintenance bundle packages that include servicing your AC, generator, and tankless water heater. For more information on the services Burkhart's provides, visit acpromise.com. Burkhart's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration, providing comfort for life.
Welcome back to Inside New Orleans Sports. Rod Walker and Garland Gillen, our guest. I'm your host, Eric Asher. We talk Tulane. Tulane now, again, American Conference champions, beating North Texas 34-21 at Yeoman. They finished the season 11-2 with the win over North Texas in the championship, 7-1 in the conference, 11th seed in the college football playoff, which is again, for the first time for any in the history of Louisiana, any school going to the college football playoff. LSU's not been made to the college football playoffs. They won the BCS, but not the college football playoff. So again, Tulane, the first school in the history of Louisiana to make it. I thought it was the most complete game of the season for Tulane. I mean, the problem with Tulane has been they'll play a great first half, and then they kind of take the foot off the gas pedal, or again they'll play a little bit well. They'll play somewhat well in the first half, and then they'll play really well in the second half. I thought it was the best, most complete game of the season. You were there. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, forcing turnovers on defense. Jake Retzloff was the key. He was pressing all the right buttons, running the ball, throwing the ball. In their 2 losses, Retzloff just had disastrous games. At Ole Miss, I was at that game, the 45-10 game. I was questioning in the second half why I drove my butt all the way up to Oxford, 5-hour drive, and wasted my Saturday. I was super mad. But in the UTSA game on a Friday night, I mean, he just had an absolutely terrible game. And everything seemed to work for Jake this past Friday night. But when you're getting a pick six, you're getting an interception in the end zone, everything was going their way. And John Summerall said it best. They won on the lines of scrimmage, and I think that's why he's going to win in Florida. Like, he gets it. You win in the trenches, O-line, D-line.
Especially in the SEC.
Yeah, and he figured that out in the American this year because they got some dudes on the D-line. They have a good offensive line. Yeah, it was a complete game. The student section was packed wall to wall. I was impressed with the crowd. It was pouring down raining at points during the game. Thank goodness I was in the press box. I didn't have to deal with that. Sorry, my photographer, Jeffrey. But yeah, it was exciting to see them win and clinch that college football playoff berth. Yes, they're heavy underdogs at Oxford next Saturday, but I'm excited just to see them in there.
Right, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, for me, I just thought it was impressive because I thought going to the game, like, people were asking me, like, is Tulane gonna win? I was kind of torn. Like, I thought the game could go either way because North Texas has had a great season, but Tulane, like, came in and you could tell they were really locked in. The coaching stuff didn't distract them at all, which I thought was going to be a concern, even though North Texas was also dealing with the same thing. But I just wasn't sure if they were going to be able to overcome all that, and they were. So that's credit to them.
It was surprising how well they dominated that offense, which that offense was scoring like 50 points a game. Now again, the weather helped them some, right? Because again, you kind of slowed them down. But you got to give a lot of credit to that defense. Again, how they shut down North Texas.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be the key. Can you slow down this offense? And they were able to do it. I guess you can say 2 days in a row the weather kind of helped.
First in New Orleans and then in Tampa, no doubt. No doubt about it. Your thoughts on the defense, again, which I thought played lights out.
Yeah, and Sam Howard, Chin-Chu. I mean, Chin-Chu had a fumble recovery, a punt recovery, and then I think he had an interception. Like, I think we voted him.
Yeah, he was MVP.
He was MVP of the game. Yeah, I know I voted him Chin-Chu player of the game. Summerall knows how to work that portal so well. Just think about this also. Jake Retzloff was his fifth quarterback because he had 4 in the spring. TJ Finley left the program. And so he goes in the summer with 3 quarterbacks, and he didn't think he had a starter in those 3. He hadn't figured it out. Then he got Retzloff at the end of July. So Retzloff was quarterback number 5. In the old system, Tulane would have been in a lot of trouble this year, but in this system, they could pick up a quarterback. When I say system, the transfer portal, even though he wasn't actually a part of the portal because he was outside the portal, so he had to be a walk-on, heck of a walk-on for Tulane. But I think that's the key with Tulane and with John Summerall was that he knew how to work the portal at Troy. He did it well in New Orleans, and I think he'll do it well at Florida.
Let's talk a little bit about the matchup against Ole Miss. Obviously, Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin, maybe a little bit advantage for Tulane. The fact that Summerall will coach obviously will help Tulane at that point. But we saw a huge disparity between, again, the athletes on Ole Miss and the athletes on Tulane in the game in Week 4. How do they overcome that?
Trinidad Chambliss has been one of the best players in college football this year. He absolutely terrorized Tulane in that first game. He still has Charlie Weiss Jr. calling the plays. So Lane Kiffin, it's Lane Kiffin's offense. But Charlie Weiss Jr. calls the plays in that offense. Now, Lane Kiffin has the right to veto anything. So Charlie Weiss Jr. will be there next Saturday. Pete Golding is still coaching that defense. So this is still a very scary Ole Miss team that if they win against Tulane, they'll be right here in New Orleans on New Year's Day against Georgia. So Tulane lost by 35 the first time around. I do not think it'll be that bad this time around. There's no way Jake Retzloff can do this again. But they got to figure out a better way to stop Trinidad Chambliss. And they got Keywan Lacey at running back, who is an absolute terror also. This offense is really tough to stop. I went up to Oxford 2 weeks in a row, saw them destroy the Tulane defense and the LSU defense. I was done with Oxford after those 2 weeks, and now I'm going back again. I'm going back to Oxford the 3rd time this fall, which is absolutely crazy. But I'm super excited just to see Tulane in the playoff. I know they're huge underdogs, but I'm really fired up to go to Oxford.
Rob, the receivers couldn't get separation. The Tulane defense didn't look like a Tulane defense against Ole Miss. I mean, it really looked like, again, the difference between an American team and an SEC team. Can they close that gap?
I think they'll close the gap, and I mean, these are college kids. I think Ole Miss will be a little bit flatter. I mean, if you beat somebody that bad, you're probably not going to play as well.
Plus, they've had time off.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think those things, and the fact that Tulane's played them before. I mean, I think there are some things. If you're going to play anybody in the playoffs, I would probably want that rematch. I mean, you don't want to go to Oregon and play them.
I don't want to go.
You don't want to go to A&M. I mean, this was probably like the best case scenario for Tulane. Probably not enough to win. But I think you have a better chance. And, well, I was in Dallas a few years ago and they beat SC. So
right. Yes.
Maybe they can play one of those kind of
Right.
games. But I don't know. And with Kiffin not being there, I don't know how much that's going to factor in. Because I think those guys are going to want to prove that
Yes.
they're still a good team.
Yeah.
So
again, when you look at Tulane right now, and again how far they come, it's amazing. Again, if they beat Ole Miss, they will make it to the Sugar Bowl for the first time since the 1939 season, 1940 Sugar Bowl. I mean, that's a long time in between. And of course, playing against the University of Georgia is going to be a tough task. But again, really happy for Tulane getting into the college football playoff. The other big story outside of Summerall, we'll get to Summerall in a minute, was Will Hall being named the head coach at Tulane. Everybody thought it was going to be Blake Baker. And maybe, again, the procrastination of whatever was going on behind the scenes with Blake Baker really kind of hurt Tulane because, again, a lot of the top coaches really came off the board because, let's face it, Power 4 schools came in and took the top coaches in the G5. G5 had to reshuffle their head coaching moves there. So a lot of the top guys got off the board by the time Baker made his decision. To me, Hall was probably always the fallback guy for them. But is he the guy? When you look at, again, his record of 14-30 at USM as a head coach, most of his success came, again, in FCS, Division II as a head coach. Obviously, again, the players like him and want him there. But a lot of those players, they might be gone in 2 years, okay? They might be gone this year. Your thoughts on the hire?
Blake Baker and Billy Napier were the guys they targeted. Napier with the JMU, and then they went after Baker. Baker seemed like they were in a great spot with him. Friday morning, had a long conversation with his wife. They have 3 kids. They've moved a lot in the last 5 years. And even if they went to Tulane, they'd have moved probably again in like 2 years.
Right.
So Baker was dealing with all that, but Tulane thought they had Baker. Like they thought they were offering him $3.1 million a year, which is what LSU is now paying him. They matched what Tulane offered. So they went to their last resort in Will Hall. And Will Hall was very open in the press conference yesterday. He's like, I know I was not Tulane's first choice, but I'm the best choice. And Les East, who is a good writer here in New Orleans, he pressed Will Hall. They had a breakout room after, and he kept asking him what went wrong at Southern Miss, and he would not answer. He just said, I need to be me. And he kept saying, I need to be me, and then if I be me, we can do better. And then Les is like, can you expand on what being me is? And he's like, I can't right now. So we don't have the answer. From my understanding, was that only 5 players at Southern Miss were getting NIL money. They had a really weak NIL package at Southern Miss. That was my understanding why Will Hall failed there.
Right.
Will would not go into it in detail, but the Tulane fans are not really happy with this hire.
Right.
They're not happy with this hire at all. If you want to point to positive, he was here with Willie Fritz, and he was here with John Summerall, so he knows how to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, when that Southern Miss job came open, I think I tweeted out, Will Hall was the first name I tweeted out just because I knew his ties to the state, obviously. And so I think he'll do fine with the second opportunity, but I mean, I do understand fans rarely ever want the interim. I mean, they don't want you to promote from within.
Right, from within.
We saw it with DA. I mean, it just kind of happens. And players always want the guy.
That's a great point.
That's just how players are. They want the guy that they're used to. So, I mean, there's opportunities here for Will Hall. He has to take advantage of it.
Well, the key for him is it was the key for Summerall on why he was so successful. Can he traverse the transfer portal? Because again, he knows he's going to be cherry picked every single year from Power 4 teams. They're going to come after his top players. There'll be G5 teams out there that have their money, that have looked for certain players in the G5 they think they can outbid for, and they're going to grab that player. So again, the success at Tulane is based solely on the ability to be able to traverse the transfer portal. And can Will Hall do that?
That's what he's going to have to do. And I think this playoff, I'm saying a playoff run, but I think them making the playoffs, it kind of gets their name out there a little bit more nationally. Like, people are going to be watching Tulane next week. I mean, they're going to be locked in. So that's good for the brand, and you just got to hope Will Hall can continue what Fritz and Summerall were able to do.
Thoughts on Will Hall?
Well, I think the key is with him, he needs to hire a good defensive coordinator. Obviously, he's going to. Now, I did ask yesterday. It's going to be his offense. It's going to be very Lane Kiffin-esque. It's going to be his offense, but he's going to hire an OC, and an OC is going to be the play caller.
Okay.
So it's going to be the same system that Lane has in place. So we will not call plays during the game. obviously have veto power, but he needs to lock in the defensive coordinator because Tulane has now become like a defensive school.
Yes.
And they got good offenses.
What about Gasparotto? I mean,
he was asked about that. He
Right?
was asked about that. He was very coy on who he's trying to get. I think it helps him that Coach Summerall has already hired his OC and his DC. Craddock, I'm intrigued to know what he's going to want to do because this past offseason, Oklahoma State wanted him to be the OC. For his sake, thank goodness he said no and stayed at Tulane. But does he want to be at Tulane where it's not his offense? He's calling plays, but it's not his offense. That's going to be intriguing to see. But he would not answer any of our questions about coaching staff because they're still trying to figure out who Summerall's going to take with him and who's going to stay at Tulane.
Yeah. I'll let you go next to Summerall and talk a bit about Summerall. Your thoughts on Summerall taking the Florida job and if he can be a success in Florida?
I think so. I mean, even just going back to his time at Troy, I think he's a guy that's going to be a good coach. And I think when Tulane hired him, everybody knew that Tulane was not going to keep this guy for long. I mean, you got 2 years out of him. He got you to the playoffs. I mean, like that's kind of like what you're going to get out of him, and they got it. So I think it was a good move for him. I always thought he was going to take the Auburn job just because his ties to Alabama.
Right? Yeah, me too.
But I think Florida's it's a good job.
Right. Florida's a better job.
It's a better,
to me. And of course, some people talked about Ole Miss. Maybe again, if Kiffin was going to leave, that maybe might be in line there. But I thought the perfect landing spot for him now at Florida, because Florida is again. That's a team that if they're well coached and they use their NIL money wisely and the transfer portal, they already got a fertile recruiting ground. You can win at Florida, and you can win big.
Yeah, and they have. I mean, there's a picture of Billy Napier and his staff in the stands. You got to go back and find it on the internet. He almost had more support staff than he had players. Like he had a huge support staff. Just never really worked out for Billy Napier at Florida. I thought he had been a great hire for Tulane. Obviously, the fans did not like my thought process because I had 5 names on the list for the Tulane job. Like just my quick list. I had Napier, Baker, Will Hall, Slade Nagel, and Shannon Dawson. And they interviewed 4 of those 5. Slade was the only one they didn't interview, but I thought Slade might got a shot since Slade took the interim head coaching job like when Willie left. But the comments section was on fire. First off, they wanted nothing to do with Will Hall. They did not like Billy Napier. Well, guess what? Billy Napier took another job before the Tulane job. So Tulane definitely wanted Billy Napier.
Right. Guys, legacy for Summerall in just 2 years. What is it?
I think he continued what Willie Fritz started. And for me, Tulane, that's the one thing. They just don't want to drop off. I mean, they're at a good spot now. They need to maintain that. And to me, that's going to be the big challenge for Will Hall. But so for me, I think Summerall, getting them in the playoffs, I mean, people are going to always remember him for that. So.
Yes. Legacy?
On overtime last night, I don't know what parts you saw of it, but Sean Mazan said that he would definitely be on the Mount Rushmore of coaches.
I would agree with that.
Juan posed the question, is he the greatest coach ever at Tulane? Summerall. It's only been 2 years. Willie Fritz, from Selfo to Toledo. Now Curtis Johnson didn't make it a bowl game on the front end, but when Willie Fritz got there, that program was down hard. Summerall took a strong program that won a Cotton Bowl and brought it to another level, but the sample size is too small of 2 years. Tommy Bowden might be on that Rushmore too, with going undefeated in '98. The only thing I don't want to see with Tulane is just that tail dive. Right after Tommy Bowden left, I mean, the Selfo, Sandy Barber fumbled that hire so bad when we had Rich Rod here in New Orleans as the OC, and they went out and got Chris Selfo and said because he's a Southern guy and he could recruit in the South.
And they had ties the family had ties to Tulane as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, one more of this family deal. We get a lot of that here in New Orleans between our teams. With that said, well, I know you're into recruiting. How do you think they did?
I thought they did fantastic considering they signed almost every single guy that committed to them without a head coach. National Sign Day was last week. Will Hall wasn't announced as the head coach until Monday in a presser on Tuesday, and they locked in almost their entire class. Also impressed there was only one kid from Louisiana that signed. Maybe that's not impressive. I don't know, but they hit the teens, which I was surprised that they kept all these recruits when they didn't even know who the head coach was.
Let's go to LSU again, 7-5. They'll be in the Texas Bowl, taking on Houston and Willie Fritz in Houston. So kind of a home game for them, even though they're not playing at the Houston Stadium. Your thoughts, because the first time getting you guys on this show, and Rod, I'll take you first. Your thoughts on the hiring of Lane Kiffin? Do you like it?
Yeah.
Was he the best guy for the job?
He was by far he was the hottest name out there.
Right.
I didn't know if they would be able to get him because I thought Lane had, I think he had kind of built something special at Ole Miss, and I thought he might say, you know what, I'm going to ride this out because the expectations up there are a lot lower than they're going to be in Baton Rouge. I mean, in Baton Rouge, you got 4 years
get
to the playoffs. Yeah, you got to get to the playoffs.
Right.
Like you got to get to the playoffs every year. That's what the expectations are. At Ole Miss, he probably could get away with winning 10 games and barely missing the playoffs a couple of times. So, but I mean, I think he's an excellent hire. I think he's a good fit for LSU. I think his personality fits with the LSU fan base. Right. Just the way he is. I mean, I think it'll be a much better fit than Brian Kelly was.
This is the guy they wanted all along. For LSU, I think it's a fantastic hire. It still kind of blows my mind that he walked away from Ole Miss when they had a shot to win a national championship. And that's not being hyperbolic. I've seen that offense numerous times. Rod has watched a lot of the Ole Miss games. Between Trinidad Chambliss and Kejuan Lacey, I mean, that offense is fantastic to watch. Pete Golding's got that defense on fire. I'm still can't believe he did it, but he did. But he did send back a lot of his offensive staff, so I still think Ole Miss can make a run. Yeah. They could beat Tulane, they could beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I no doubt. They only lost to them by a touchdown, and that was their only loss. Yeah. But Lane in Baton Rouge, I think he will have success, but you also cannot trust Lane Kiffin at all. Right. He could win a national championship next year, and then the next morning say, I'm leaving for the Dallas Cowboys. I would not be surprised.
I'm with you.
He has no loyalty to anyone at all.
2.6 years per per job. With Ole Miss being 6 years, being the outlier.
Yeah.
2.6 years.
Yeah, the LSU fans are already eating from his hands. Right. On Twitter, he reposts the Tiger King and all that stuff. They're all in on Lane Kiffin, and they think they could have success quickly, which I think they can because obviously the defense wasn't the problem. The offense under Joe Sloan was the absolute problem. So I think they can win right away. I cannot wait till January 2nd when that transfer portal opens. They're going all in on a quarterback. Trinidad Chambliss, I know a lot of people talk about he needs to get a waiver to play next year.
Yes.
And I don't know when that waiver is going to kick in. So you might be going after a Sam Leavitt, who's Arizona State's quarterback. Drew the Mestamaker, the quarterback of North Texas, he'll probably be in that transfer portal. Yes. There'll be some names in there. They need a quarterback bad. Yeah. Michael Van Buren, super nice kid. He said he wants to stay at LSU. Right. He might as a backup. Colin Hurley is away from the team right now. Right. So they have to go all in the portal, and they said they got $25 to $30 million in NIL money. So they're going all in. So I need to see who this quarterback is.
How big was it for Blake Baker to stay with LSU, where he doesn't have to worry about the defense now?
Yeah, I mean, that was a really big hire for them, and for Kiffin to be able to keep him there, I mean, I think that definitely makes his transition easier.
And what is it? Corey Raymond, Olsen, and the edge Peoples.
Yeah, they're still working on they're still working on the D-line coach. It seems like the one they brought in last week is kind of wavering on his decision, Robinson. But they got Corey Raymond. And if you got Corey Raymond, that means you can keep DJ Pickett.
Yes.
DJ Pickett is going to be a top 5 draft pick in the 2027 NFL. No, 2028. He's only a true freshman right now. He's one of the freshmen of the year. I thought he did lights out. Did a really good job with PJ Woodley on their side. As long as you keep Corey Raymond, the big key is, and they haven't made an announcement yet, so I don't think he's staying as Frank.
Right. Why? They have a history. He was with him in Tennessee. What he's done for LSU, I don't understand why you don't find a place for him.
So Kevin Smith, unless Kevin Smith decides to stay at Ole Miss, he's right now helping with the college football playoff. But Kevin Smith's worked for Lane for 9 years, and if you were going to make that hire with Frank, you'd have made it already. And they said they're going to decide after the bowl game. I think that decision's already made. I couldn't believe that the two Edna Carr kids signed with LSU knowing that there's a chance that Frank's not going to be there. Right. Frank has nurtured all those relationships with Big Rich, Richard Anderson, and Aiden Hall at Edna Carr. And Bryce Brown even went up there last week to find out what the story was. And they got no guarantees. Bryce Brown did not get a guarantee that Frank was going to be back. So I couldn't believe they still signed with LSU.
Do you think he'll be back, and should he be back?
I think he definitely should be back. If you got to find a spot for somebody like that. I mean, he's
assistant head coach, something.
But he will not. Bryce Brown told me that he will not take an off the field role.
Okay.
Like he wants to be because only the coaches on the field are allowed to leave campus and recruit.
Okay.
If you don't coach if you're off the field like an analyst, you can't recruit.
But as assistant head coach, you can recruit, right?
It's got to be an on the field position.
Got to be on the field position.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, they pretty much filled up almost all the offensive positions.
They only have one spot left.
There you go. So,
running back coach.
There you go. But you already talked about it.
Kevin Smith is the favorite. So and there's a report out on Wednesday morning that Frank's talking to Texas.
Right.
That'd be smart for Texas because guess what? There's a lot of talent in this state, and Frank, as Rod and I both know, Frank owns the New Orleans area when it comes to recruiting. Everybody, I call him the godfather of Louisiana recruiting.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody that Will Hall should maybe.
Yeah, that would be honestly yes.
If he has the
why
money
not?
To do it, if you can
absolutely.
afford
I mean, I would agree with that 100%. Especially again what he does in New Orleans.
Right.
I just find it hard to believe that again with everything he's done for LSU. Again, coming back again and giving up a head coaching job to coach at LSU again, keeping LSU again afloat through this situation after Brian Kelly, that you would let him walk out the door.
Yeah. No, I don't understand it. That's the one question I have with Lane. Like, what are you doing right now? But someone pointed out to me that Frank Wilson wasn't on the coaching staff when they won in 2003 the national title. He was not on the coaching staff in 07 or 19. He wasn't on any of those teams coach. So,
But before we go to Pelicans, their recruiting class early signing period.
Oh gosh, fantastic! It's the highest rated class per player. Now USC is number one. They had 35 kids.
Right.
LSU only had 14. They got 2 5-stars in Big Rich and Lamar Brown out of U-High. I think they did a fantastic job. But their Super Bowl is January 2nd. The transfer portal opens. This is when it goes down.
That's where Lane excels.
He has to. He needs guys that can plug and play right away, and he'll get a ton of them.
All right, guys, let's go to the Pelicans. Rod, man, I don't envy you, dude. I really don't. 3-22. What is it? 7 losses in a row. 1-9 in the last 10. But if Pelican fans, and look, I've talked about it on the radio show, that they've lost the casual NBA fan right now. Again, they're not in the stands anymore. They've got the diehards still there. But if you're even the casual NBA fan, you've got to be intrigued by what you're seeing out of these rookies. What you're seeing out of Fears, what Queen did the other day, historic triple-double, 33 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 4 blocks, okay, which is the first for a rookie in the history of the NBA. Your thoughts on before I get into the thoughts of the team, your thoughts on, again, this rookie class and how they have been able to contribute.
I think Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, I think they nailed this draft. I mean, they got some really good players that can come in and contribute right away. Most time with these rookies, you kind of, it takes a little time, and these guys have stepped right in. And Queen he's a guy that could be like a generational type talent, and we haven't really seen that. I mean, obviously AD and Chris Paul were here, and they were superb. But I mean, Queen is a guy that can like just really just change everything. He could be the face of this franchise, the face of this city, and I mean, he doesn't even turn 21 until like 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
So, and then obviously Jeremiah Fears, he's come in, he's played really well. He's playing at the point guard position, so it's going to take him a little longer to really make an impact. And then they got Michael Peavy in the second round, who a guy that nobody really even knew who he was, but he's like a really good defensive player that can kind of step in.
We knew who he was, though.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's a Georgetown guy.
Yes.
Weaver's all over the
Baltimore, DC, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a guy that can be just as good defensively as Herb Jones. I mean, he's like really.
I call him Herb Jones Jr.
Yeah, I mean, that's who he is.
He really looks like it.
Yeah. And then I think they did a good job. This isn't a rookie, but I think the trade to get Sadiq Bey in here, everybody called it the Jordan Poole trade, but it's starting to look like it's the Sadiq Bey trade. And he's really contributing as well. So they do have some pieces, and I think, but they're going to have to make some moves this season and figure out like who they want to be. But you do have some really good young core pieces that you can build around.
I'm going to get to the trade in a moment with draft picks, but I want your thoughts on the rookies.
I love Derek Queen. I love his energy. I love his interviews after the games there. I love how I think he said the other night in the locker room that this rookie class is better than next year's rookie class because everybody keeps talking about the Boozer twins and all that.
It could be as good as 03 or even 84.
Yeah,
Jordan.
Let's talk about this. Yeah, like I like Derek. He's very. I mean, he's got the braces. Like he's just a kid. And Rod's right. This is who they can like build around going forward. Like the Zion Williamson era in New Orleans looks like it's coming to a grinding stop,
As it should be.
and pull down those Zion Williamson pitchers and everything, and put up the Derek Queen. This is going to be, I think, the new face of the franchise, and he's got braces.
I'm so torn, okay, because on one hand, I love the kid. I love the game. The game is incredible and what he can do for the franchise. But it seems a little reckless in terms of again, what you gave up. You gave up, again, a potential lottery pick with the Indiana Pacers, which was top 4 protected, to get the 23rd pick when you traded that pick you got from Toronto for Brandon Ingram. Then, of course, you gave up, again, which is going to be the highest of the Pelicans or the Milwaukee pick, which, again, the Pelicans pick will be a lottery pick. So potentially 2 lottery picks giving up for Queen. But when you look at what he's done, you say to yourself, on one hand, I get it, but maybe he's worth it. Is he worth it, you think? It's early to tell, but right now,
to me, it's too early to tell. But I do see it trending in that direction.
Right.
So, to me, I mean, if he starts this season off, he was like 13th, 14th in the Rookie of the Year ballot. I mean, in the odds.
Yes.
And he's up to 3rd now. I mean, in every game, he's just like steadily climbing up. And if this guy wins Rookie of the Year and makes All NBA team and does all that, then I think you probably come out all right. As far as those trades, I mean, the Pacers trade, I don't really hold it against the Pelicans because you didn't know that
nobody was Halliburton go down.
Right. He was getting hurt the next week, and that sort of changed everything.
Good,
so,
you like the trade?
Yeah, all off season they got absolutely killed. Every podcast I listened to, every TV show, they were just destroying Joe Dumars and Weaver for making this trade. It's getting a little clearer. Was the only way to get that trade to make it unprotected? I still can't believe that.
Obviously, when they went to all these teams, like 6 teams before they got to Atlanta, they had to do it unprotected at that point because nobody was biting.
Yeah, it still just boggles the mind that they couldn't give some other things. They had to give an unprotected pick. It's looking better. We'll keep. This is something we're gonna like chart for the next year or so.
But if he's the player that he looks like he could be, it's well worth the picks.
And you won't even be talking about it.
No way.
10 years from now.
No, you won't. You'll be saying,
if he's the next Jokic,
this guy's an all-NBA player.
Right,
who cares at that point? Borrego hasn't had a lot of practice time. We talked about it before the show. If he can get more practice time, do you think this team can get better as we go forward?
Yeah, that's one thing he talked about today was like the question was like, what are y'all kind of focusing on? And he knows that he has to get this defense better. Like they got to just stop people. They struggle stopping people, and that's what he said. Today's practice that's all they did was work on defense. And Borrego's a coach, like he pays attention to a lot of details. And I think with Willie Green, like sometimes, something doesn't go right, he just kind of lets it slide. But Borrego, like he stops and makes sure you know what you're supposed to be doing. And I think that attention to detail is going to help this team. I think they're going to see some improvements.
Part of the reason why they're having problems with defense is they got rookies playing. And it's hard for rookies to make that transition from college to pro.
Even Derek Queen's having some trouble.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, no. I mean, Herb Jones can only cover up so many holes. And then Yves Missi needs to get back on the court there soon too. So the defense is a problem. I mean, giving up 77 to the Spurs in the first half is too many.
It's too many. Zion traded by the deadline?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to say no, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did it. But no, can I switch my answer? I'm going to say yeah.
All right. No, we talk about this every year, and at the beginning of the year, we get all excited that Zion looks super slim in training camp. I think we've been had too many times. His body just keeps breaking down. I don't know what they're going to get though. Is it going to be nickels on the dollar? Is it going to be dimes? Like it's not going to be penny on dollar. I don't know how much money and draft picks or what are they going to get for Zion there.
At some point, it's time to turn the page, though. I mean, again,
I'm kind of done with this.
You got these rookies. You got to start building around those rookies and turn the page. Again, you had to turn the page on Anthony Davis. You turned the page on Brandon Ingram, and that maybe it's time to turn the page on Zion as well. Great panel tonight. Rod Walker, Garland, Gillen, fantastic. Thanks so much for being with us today on Inside New Orleans Sports. All right, so many ways to catch our program now. As I say it every week, we're so blessed. You got WLAE-TV, WLAE-TV2, Pelican Sports Television. There's a QR code on your screen that will take you to my website, ericasher.com, or also the WLAE-TV YouTube channel where you can catch it online as well. You catch me on the radio 4 to 6 weekdays. That's on 106.7 The Ticket. You can listen live at ericasher.com, 106.7 The Ticket's website. We also have an app, 106.7 The Ticket app. You can download that. iHeartRadio app, TuneIn Radio app, also available for you to be able to catch the show in the station. Also for our program, this program, set your DVR, you don't miss the show. All right, I want to thank our underwriters who make this show possible. Please support our underwriters. Also, the folks here at WLAE-TV who produce our program and do a fantastic job. Ron Yeager, Jim Dotson, Alex Chacon, and the best director on the planet, William Hill. For Rod Walker and Garland Gillen, I'm Eric Asher. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for another edition of Inside New Orleans Sports. Thanks for watching.
Today, we bring you the first part of our global broadcast exclusive conversation.
I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez.
This is Democracy Now!
Weekdays at 12 on WLAE.
If you want a rewarding career in a city like no other, NOPD and this chief are calling. Change your life and the lives of others. Join NOPD.
We're local and educational. You're watching WLAE-TV, celebrating 40 years of New Orleans public television.